So hello everyone and welcome to another accessories video. This time we're going to be talking about iPad accessories. Now, I did do my iPad Pro M4 impressions, and over the month that I've been having this iPad, I've started to really love it more and more as I continue using it. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys some accessories that I have used and have found work wonderfully on my iPad, and just some other alternatives if you're not a big fan of some of the accessories that I have. So yeah. Before we get into it though, I do want to mention that there should be like 99% of the accessories here should work on older iPads as well, or have iPad versions that support your iPad, if that makes sense. So if you have like an M1 or M2 iPad Pro or Air or whatever, usually a lot of the accessories will have versions that are compatible with those iPads, so keep an eye out for that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about the big thing here, the case. Now, on my previous M1 iPad Pro, I ran a Magic Keyboard with folio case combo, and that was great, but I noticed that like 90% of the time that I'm using my iPad, it's without the keyboard. I use it mainly to draw and write on. So for this iPad, I decided to just ditch the Magic Keyboard for right now and go straight for an iPad cover and case that provides protection and a lot of more angles for drawing and writing, specifically for my use case. So this case, you've probably seen in a bunch of videos. This is the ESR Shift, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I know a lot of content creators have been sponsored by ESR and have been completely praising them for whatever, but I will admit, after using this is one of the best cases I've ever used due to the flexibility of it. Now, I do want to make it clear, this case is not for everyone. Obviously, the bulk of this case is going to be a turnoff for a lot of people, and the fact that since it covers the entire iPad, you can't use the smart connector without detaching the entire iPad from the case. But with that being said, there are some major things that I love about this case, specifically for drawing and writing. So first of all, you do have this little cover here for your Apple Pencil, so you can tuck away your Apple Pencil here. I do wish there was a flap here just to secure this in place, but having this is a decent alternative. But the main star of the show is the angles. So if you go here and open it up, you do have multiple angles of view. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys who have seen videos about the ESR Shift know about this. So you have a couple of viewing angles right here using the flap. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, and then you see 4, 5, 6, all these divots right here. And they magnetically attach, and they're very sturdy. So like if I go in here and I just press on this, right, it's not going to fall off or anything like that, right? So really nice. But the nicest thing is that it has more than just those 6 angles, and specifically for drawing. So if you saw before, just recent now that the flap just opened up, so there's a secondary flap here that you can use for drawing or writing. So you have 3 extra angles that you can use for drawing and writing, and I use this one specifically for drawing. And for drawing, this is a very, very nice angle to draw on. So like if I open up like a piece that I'm currently working on in progress, I can see here I'm pressing down, and it's not giving in. The hinge here, or the stand here, is very, very sturdy, and it makes it great for carrying a drawing like canvas-esque like base on the go. So yeah, it's really, really nice. It surprised me at how functional and just versatile it is. And the best part is that you can actually detach the iPad from the base magnetically like this, so you still have a protective iPad case when you're going out and about, and it actually magnetically attaches to surfaces. So if you really want to go that route, you can just attach this to a fridge and just do whatever. Overall, this case has surprised me in how versatile it is. It's probably one of the most versatile cases, and if you're looking for a non-Magic Keyboard case, this is probably one of the best options here. Now, if you're not a big fan of this entire base thing, and I will admit the material of this case is quite flimsy, especially the base here. I wish it was a little bit more premium, but if you're not a big fan of that, another alternative I would suggest is the Zugu one, which is basically the exact same thing as this thing. The only thing that the Zugu case doesn't have is the ability to detach the iPad from the base. But if you don't really care about that and are fine with carrying a bulky or a tough case for that, the Zugu one is fantastic. Now, if you want to go with cases that work with the Magic Keyboard, I got three options for you. So the first one is the ESR Rebound. This one I used on my previous M1 iPad Pro. Very cheap for the price, and basically does most of the things that the Apple Smart Folio does. The Pitaka Mag Easy one has some extra things with it where you can actually origami fold the case so you can have more viewing angles. I personally have never purchased it before, but seeing all the reviews and the videos, I would assume that it's a great one for if you want a bare case for drawing and stuff like that. And the third one is TomTalk's offering, which is quite similar to like a folio kind of thing, but it just misses the it's just basically this kind of scenario minus the case. So actually I can just show it to you real quick. All right, so this is the case that I'm talking about. This is kind of like the TomTalk folio in a sense, but it has a lot of the same things that this one does, just lacking some of the flexibility. So you can see here, you can still fold it in the back right here, and it's just a flat folio case thing. So if you want to, you can detach this, and it's just a backside, so you can still easily pull it off and attach it to the Magic Keyboard if you want. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but if you want something that's comparable to like these more versatile cases, the TomTalk one I do recommend as a alternative to the Pitaka one, just as an example. So yeah. Speaking of art, let's go ahead and talk about a pencil accessory, which is just a pencil grip. Now, this one's from Paperlike, and it is quite pricey. There are obviously cheaper alternatives on Amazon, so if you can get a cheaper price or cheaper alternative, I would suggest it. But having a pencil grip makes drawing and writing way less fatiguing, I guess you can say, when you're doing anything on your iPad. So this is kind of a given if you're used to or you've used pencil grips before, but having one on your Apple Pencil really will help keep your grip and prevent your hand from tiring out from holding onto it for so long. So yeah, overall nice accessory if you use your pencil a lot. So yeah. Now, I didn't mention before that 90% of the time I use my iPad, it's for drawing and for writing, but for the remaining 10%, it's using the keyboard for stuff like emails or anything like that, just typing notes up or scripts, and I prefer typing on it. So I decided to go with a separate Bluetooth keyboard option. Now, you can obviously go the Magic Keyboard route if you really wanted to, but I would only suggest going that route if you're gonna heavily use the Magic Keyboard. Otherwise, I would suggest going for like something like a Bluetooth one, and this one I find to be very, very nice and a really, really compact solution here. So this is the Logitech Keys to Go 2. So this is the second generation Keys to Go. It's a little pricey on the pricey side, 70 to 80 bucks, but you get a lot here. So first of all, you do get a nice cover flap, which opens up the keyboard here. You get really nice, you get some good keys. These keys feel similar to like the Logitech Combo Touch. And for the most part, the best thing about this Keys to Go is how compact it is. Now, if you want perspective here, it's basically the same width or the same length as an iPad Pro or an 11-inch iPad. So let me first unlock this thing here. So I have the notes here, and you can see here as I'm typing. So this is a typing test for the Logitech Combo, not the Combo Touch, this is the Keys to Go. Keys to Go. I really like the keyboard. Yeah, so you can see here for a portable keyboard, this is really nice and very compact. Also has function row keys here. So if you want to turn down the brightness like this, or if you want to mute the volume and just, hit the home button, then boom, you got it. It overall is very, very nice. And for a solution that you want to pair with, say, like a case like the ESR Shift or the Zugu, I think this is a fantastic keyboard to pair with just because of how small it is, and that you can basically carry this alongside your iPad pretty easily without any issues. So you could just fold it up here. And if you want to carry it around, you just need to carry these two. And these two together are pretty compact, all things considered. So yeah. Some other solutions I do recommend too are some other Logitech options like the 380. There's some other keyboards, but for a compact solution that can fit basically with your iPad sleeve or whatever, this one is probably the best of the best. So yeah, highly recommend that if you don't want the Magic Keyboard. All right, next up, let's talk hubs and external storage. Now, if you're not someone who uses or edits a lot of files on your iPad locally, just for videos, like videos and photos, then you don't need external storage. But if you do, there's some really good options there. As long as you can find something that works for you, you can. I've been using this T7 Shield from Samsung for like a year now, and this thing has been amazing for content creation. Easily plugs into your iPad, works really well, and it's a really good external solution. But obviously you can do many other different alternatives, like you got Crucial, you got SanDisk. As long as you have something that works and works best for you, then anything will do. I just find that the T7 one has been the most reliable that I've used over the couple of SSDs that I've used over the years. So yeah, it's why it's on here, and I give this a strong recommendation if you need external storage too. So yeah. All right, onto the hub here. So there are a bunch of USB hubs you can go with. Like it's in the corner here, but this is one that I use for my MacBook Pro, and this one's kind of like a dongle one, but this one is designed for the iPad, and this one is from Hyper, I think it's called. I don't think they sell these anymore, but they should offer alternatives. But yeah, basically this one is designed for the iPad as it kind of docks on the side. So say that you have this here and you want to dock your iPad right here. So you do this, boom, it's docked. And the nice thing is that it has media row keys here, so if you want to play, pause, or skip, you have shortcuts right here. Also has decent connectivity, charging port, USB 3, headphone jack, SD cards, and HDMI. So for quick on-the-go sessions, this is pretty much all I need. And it's very compact and fits on the side, so I don't have to dongle. Highly recommend if you can find this as well. This was designed for the M1 iPads, if I'm not mistaken, but it will work on any iPad, so any iPad that supports USB-C. So yeah, highly recommend this. Let's move on. So on to traveling bags and carry bags for your iPad. This TomTalk one is one that I've been using for the past year or two, using the M1, and it works with the M4 just fine, but it's super nice and super compact, specifically for an iPad only setup, so you can just easily fit this in here, and it's well protected in here, as you can see, with all the grooves and stuff like that. It's a really nice iPad sleeve and carry-on bag. You can close that up, and then you have a slim pouch in here to put any accessories that you have. I'm just doing it the other way. Now, the one I have has a pencil holder, as you can see here, but do keep in mind that with a grip like this, it's not going to support. So I just put in here, let's say I put my USB-C hub, let's say I put my storage option right here in here, and then maybe like a controller or something like that if I need to use it. We'll get into controllers in just a second, like this one here, and boom, you got yourself a really compact iPad carry here that you can bring along with you wherever you go. It's for an iPad specific sleeve. This TomTalk one is really good for the price you're paying for it. So now there are a bunch of other options you can go for stuff. So do keep an eye out for Amazon for anything that will fit your specific needs. But I find TomTalk, as I noted before, to be some of the most reliable carry-on bags that I've used. So yeah. All right, last up, let's talk about controllers, because with the M4 iPad being so powerful that you can run AAA games, obviously you're gonna want a controller to pair along with it. But this controller right here is more useful than you may think for just gaming. So we'll get into that. But first, let's talk about just normal gaming. If you're planning to play like AAA games on your iPad, like if you're one of the few who are actually playing Resident Evil on your iPad, or if you're playing a gacha game or whatever that you prefers a controller, something like Wuthering Waves or Zenless, then the most versatile and most reliable I found is the Xbox controller here, as I found that a lot of the games that I play usually use Xbox controller inputs. Now, that's not to say that a PS5 controller or a Switch controller won't work like this one. Like this will work absolutely fine with the iPad and a lot of the games, but I noticed that a lot of the games default to an Xbox layout. So if you're someone who can't translate between Xbox and PlayStation layouts or anything like that, I just say just go for an Xbox controller. It's usually on sale for cheaper than the DualSense alternatives, and it does everything that you need it to do without all the fuss. Now, the only thing really is that you have to worry about batteries, but other than that, it's a very reliable solution and just works out of the box for a lot of the iPad games that support the controllers. So yeah. Now onto this here. So this thing I recently purchased, and this thing surprised me how useful it is, not just for gaming, but for productivity. So let me explain. So this is the 8-bit Do 02. This is a very small, compact controller you can see here. It's great for SNES and DS emulation because it fits in your pocket and you can use this to play games like Mario Kart and stuff like that really well. But its strongest suit for me is the keyboard mode. Now, the keyboard mode basically maps all these buttons to keyboard inputs, and you can use these keyboard inputs to run macros or shortcuts on different apps that support keyboard shortcuts. So for example, right, say that I'm drawing something, right? Say that I'm drawing something real quick. So let me just turn this on real quick. So you can see here, it's turned on. It's on keyboard mode right now. So I have it set so that, okay, so I want to draw for a little bit. Let me just zoom in for a second here. So let's say I want to draw for a little bit here, and I'm just on the brush here. Okay, now I want to switch to a pencil. So I'll do that real quick. That's the pen real quick. So you can see here, I have X, Y map to pencil, and you can see here, it's a different tool. I can set this here to gradient if I'm not mistaken, so, or blur. So I can set that to blur real quick, and I can change the size of it. So if I move these buttons around, I can change how big the blur brush is, and then I also have a fill brush right here, so like that. So yeah, this stuff I configured in my settings of my app, but there are a bunch of other apps that do support keyboard inputs, such as DaVinci Resolve if you really want to go that route. So yeah, overall, this thing for productivity is amazing, and it works for gaming as well. And for those who want a small, compatible, kind of like keypad kind of thing, this is one of the best options I've found just because of how small it is. These things usually go for around like 15 to 20 bucks, and I highly recommend it for that price. It's very, very good for what you're paying for. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for the video here. I showcased a couple of iPad accessories that I've used that really boost my love for this iPad. But yeah, overall, just talking about the iPad, just reflecting about it a month later, I've started to understand more and more why people enjoy spending this much money for the iPad. It's still an awesome tablet, and these accessories will help really elevate your productivity and just your enjoyment of it even more if you're into those specific niches that I talked about for who needs these accessories. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.